I saw something about the US because it was about the Democratic Party, that the one that stands is in opposition to the Donald Trump Party, the Republican Party. I felt something that was strange. It was as if there was a feminine presence that was almost like the main influence over that party. And that feminine presence wasn't Hillary Clinton. I saw that, and yet I know there's good news for Trump.
Well, 8 years after his stunning upset of Hillary Clinton, 4 years after Joe Biden evicted him from the White House, the former president is about to return to power. Gary O'Donoghue looks now at how this extraordinary political comeback has come about.
The idea of seeing into the future is a mystery that seems so beyond the scope of what's possible, but with multiple accurate fulfillments of his prophecies on landmark global events, Prophet Elvis Mbonye has proven to be in a league of his own as the credible mouthpiece of God in this generation. 7th January 2020.
There's something which I saw and it wasn't clear. You see, some of the things that came to me were bizarre, and instead of getting deeper and trying to interpret them, I thought I might mess them up. So those that weren't clear, I just left them that way, because sometimes they are more powerful when they unfold. I saw something about the US, and this one here, it kind of baffled me, because it was about the Democratic Party, that's the one that stands in opposition to the Donald Trump Party, the Republican Party. And while I know, at least I think, that Biden is the guy that leads that party, I felt something that was strange. It was as if there was a feminine presence that was almost like the main influence over that party. And that feminine presence wasn't Hillary Clinton. So I saw that, and yet I know there's good news for Trump. So there was one bit that when it unfolds, we will clearly see what that is all about.
At the time that this prophecy was given, Bernie Sanders was the favorite to win the Democratic seat, and Senator Joe Biden was trailing so far behind in the race that he was expected to fall out, making his nod for the Democratic nomination completely unprecedented. 8 months later, Senator Joe Biden, the Democratic candidate for the U.S. presidential elections, in an unprecedented historic move, picked a female figure as his running mate, just as the prophet had prophesied.
News from the United States. Joe Biden has picked Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate in the upcoming U.S. elections.
It's Kamala Harris, Wilfred. The vice president's website now indicating that he has selected Kamala Harris, the Democratic senator from California, who of course ran for president in this cycle on the Democratic side of the aisle. But Joe Biden clearly feels that Kamala Harris is the woman who can help him win the White House in 2020. Wilfred, back over to you.
There's actually an email that has gone out to supporters that said that Joe Biden has selected Kamala Harris as his running mate. There's actually an entire Biden-Harris logo at the top of this email.
True to the prophetic word, Kamala Harris rose from relative obscurity, taking center stage in the Democratic Party leadership, and has been highly influential and powerful in the 2020 and 2024 U.S. elections, becoming the first female U.S. vice president and 2024 Democratic presidential frontrunner as a result of Biden's backing.
Kamala Harris is a former prosecutor who's seen as a serious heavyweight player in the Democratic Party.
Kamala Harris is the first vice president who's a woman.
And while I know, at least I think, that Biden is the guy that leads that party, I felt something that was strange. It was as if there was a feminine presence that was almost like the main influence over that party. And that feminine presence wasn't Hillary Clinton.
4 years, 6.5 months later, United States President-elect Joe Biden abruptly dropped out of the 2024 U.S. presidential elections and offered his full support and endorsement to Vice President Kamala Harris, already considered the most influential individual in the Democratic Party, to replace him as the Democratic nominee for the 2024 U.S. elections in an unprecedented fulfillment of prophecy.
President Joe Biden has just announced that he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race in a stunning letter that was just released moments ago by his campaign on X, formerly known as Twitter.
He endorsed the Vice President, Kamala Harris, to be the next Democrat nominee, and in the last hour, she confirmed that she would be seeking the nomination.
Vice President Harris has announced her intention to run for president in the wake of Mr. Biden's announcement. A short statement released on X said, "I am honored to have the president's endorsement, and my intention is to earn and win this nomination."
The support for Kamala Harris is growing. All 50 state chairs of the Democratic Party back her, all 50 of them. She also has endorsements from more than 150 Democratic lawmakers in the U.S. Congress and governors in Democratic states.
So I think you see a coming together for a candidate who is a strong person. I know I ran against her for president. I saw how strong and fierce she is on that debate stage.
I saw that. And yet I know there's good news for Trump. So
Almost 5 years later, in a powerful display of the power of prophecy, Donald Trump became the 47th President of the United States of America.
Welcome to our special live coverage on this historic night. Donald Trump will be the 47th President of the United States. And this is a political comeback for the ages. From impeachment, the threat of jail, and even centimeters away from death in assassination attempts. And what an extraordinary night it's been. It wasn't close in the end. This is, in fact, closer to a landslide win for Trump. The president-elect claimed victory before a euphoric crowd.
Hey, look what happened. Is this crazy?
Donald Trump has been elected to a second term as president, defeating a resurgent Democratic nominee in Vice President Kamala Harris.
In a mind-blowing display of the power of prophecy, Prophet Elvis Mbonye accurately identifies Joe Biden as the leader of the Democratic Party at a time when he was trailing in the DNC polls and had little chance of becoming the Democratic Party presidential candidate. The prophet also accurately identifies Kamala Harris as the dominant feminine presence in the Democratic Party, who was not Hillary Clinton, many years before Senator Kamala Harris was nominated as a presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. The prophet accurately picks up that Senator Kamala Harris would contest for the presidency of the USA against Donald Trump at a time when this was inconceivable. The prophet also accurately revealed that Trump would ultimately come out as the winner of this presidential race 5 years before it would happen. This and many more prophetic fulfillments are confirmation that God is in charge of the destiny of nations, having gifted us with a prophet with an unmatched record of fulfilled prophecies. And we who are privileged to be witness accord the highest double honor to the matchless prophet of our generation, Prophet Elvis Mbonye.